Some women don't chase, and yet they are never forgotten. They do not announce themselves with noise. They arrive like dusk, uninvited, inevitable, painting the air with a light that makes everything else seem too bright, too loud, too restless. Her steps are not hurried. She walks as though the world has already been hers for centuries. Her silence is not empty. It is filled with a gravity that pulls at the parts of a man he thought he had buried. Carl Jung once wrote that, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." When such a woman enters a man's orbit, she becomes that fate, the fate he did not see coming, the mirror he never wanted to face. She is not the type to ask for attention, and yet attention bends toward her like flowers toward the sun. But she is no sun. She is moonlight, soft enough to rest under, dangerous enough to stir the tides. Men don't notice her all at once. First, it's the way she does not flinch in silence. Then, it's the way she listens without giving herself away. Then, it's the way she holds a gaze just long enough to make you wonder what she saw inside you, and whether you want her to see more. For him, she is not a woman in the ordinary sense. She is an archetype, an image birthed from the deepest part of his unconscious. She embodies the anima, the feminine mirror of his soul. But mirrors are dangerous. They show not only what is beautiful, but what is broken. He sees things in her that she has never claimed to be. Her eyes remind him of a kindness he once knew. Long before life taught him to hide his softness, her stillness feels like safety. Yet it is not his to keep. This is the danger Jung warned of: projection. A man projects onto a woman the lost fragments of himself, the tenderness he disowned, the longing he repressed, the dreams he left in the attic of his youth. And the more he stares, the less he sees her, and the more he sees the version of himself he aches to return to. But longing is a double-edged blade. He does not just desire her presence, he fears it. Because to stand in front of her is to stand in front of his own shadow. It is like watching sunlight filter through stained glass, beautiful, fractured, colored by his own history. Every word she speaks passes through the filter of his wounds. If she is kind, he calls it love. If she is distant, he calls it cruelty. If she walks away, he calls it betrayal. Not because she betrayed him, but because her leaving rips open the memory of all the others who left before her. In truth, she has done nothing but colorless. But this is not love. This is shadow work disguised as romance. He is chasing a part of himself, and she is merely the mirror in which it dances. She understands this without words. This is not her first orbit around a man's unfinished soul. She knows how quickly devotion can turn into resentment once a man realizes she will not become the balm for his unhealed wounds. So she remains still. She gives only what is hers to give, and she keeps the rest, her peace, her worth, her inner world, for herself. This is where her power lies, not in what she offers, but in what she refuses to surrender. Some women are oceans. You cannot own an ocean. You cannot pour it into a glass and say, "This is mine." A man can stand at the shore and be humbled by it, swim in it and be changed by it, but he cannot keep it. The ocean belongs to no one. Her self-worth runs that deep. It is not something she performs. It is not the childhood silence that taught him vulnerability is weakness, but her presence shakes that armor, not with force, but with stillness. She is the quiet that makes the noise inside him too loud to ignore. And in the darkness of his room, long after she is gone, he will feel her absence as if it were a physical touch. Absence is sometimes louder than presence. The more he tries to hold her image, the more it unravels. He sees now that he is not just losing her, he is losing the illusion she carried. She was never the answer. She was the question he was too afraid to ask himself. Who am I when no one is watching? What am I without my armor? What do I fear will happen if I am truly seen? Jung called this individuation the painful journey of meeting the self, and she, unknowingly, has been the doorway. And so she leaves, not as a storm, but as a season that has ended. No goodbyes, no explanations. Her love was never his to hold hostage. Her silence is her crown, and her absence is the echo that will follow him longer than her presence ever could. The shadows in his heart will remain, perhaps forever. They will whisper her name when he lies beside another. They will haunt him in the quiet between two breaths, and she will never need to know. Because the woman who walks away in silence isn't weak. She simply sees more.